What is happening, people? Welcome to the Peter on Pole live podcast. We are here in the building. Let us talk about the preview ahead to the Grand Prix in Imola, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Listen, I'm struggling with even learning how to say that. I'm all alone today, unfortunately. I ain't got my guest, David, who usually comes on here. So it's a free invitation today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put the link in the comment section. So if you'd like to join the conversation, then have a butchers and we can discuss all things Formula One. And of course, talk about the Grand Prix ahead this weekend. So give me a shout if you are in the building. I see CCF1 here from early, so shout out to you guys. Make sure you check out their video. They just put out a video today regarding Mercedes' lineup in 2022. Hint, hint, Max Verstappen and also George Russell. So that should be some interesting partnership, shall we say. But we have to watch this space. So make sure you go check out their channel as well. Shout out as well. I want to big up, let me show some love. Shout out to CCF1. Shout out to Michael Smolders. What is happening? All the way from Rotterdam. You know what? My favorite football team in Holland? Feyenoord. Please don't tell me it's Sparta Rotterdam for you, yeah? Feyenoord's my team. Listen, we got Van Persie, you know. Obviously, it didn't end too well. But anyway, shout out, of course, anytime. But yeah, let's talk the Imola. Well, not the Imola. Oh, your team's Ajax. No way. Your team's Ajax. Listen, I ain't got a beef with Ajax. You got Dennis Bergkamp, Mark Overmars. Anyway, that's football. We'll discuss that at another time. But yeah, if you'd like to jump into the chat, it is right here, right now, available for you. I've put the link in the comment section. Let me know if you can actually click the link, because on mine it doesn't show properly. Like it just shows bare like digits and that. So maybe it's not the case. But over here in the UK, in London especially, we have opened up restrictions, and guess what? That's why the haircut is here. What do you guys think of the haircut? I mean, thank God. That's all I can say, because I've been having, my hair has been awful. You know, it's been like a carpet. It's just been a mess. But enough about that. Enough about all things outside of Formula One. Let's talk about Formula One this weekend. How excited are we all that there's going to be another race this weekend? It's been forever. Okay, we've been waiting a long time, and just after we had a fantastic Bahrain Grand Prix, we then get 3 weeks. And look, Imola is next. Imola is next, which is not going to be as exciting as Bahrain, guys. But don't be disappointed. It's still going to be a good race nonetheless. At least we've got some Formula One back in our lives, because it's been far too long. Thank you for showing love. Looking fresh. Yeah, you're liking the trim. Look at man like Uzair. What's happening? Hair is good. I'm trying to grow mine out. What? Nah, man, I can't deal. Unless your hair is like, it behaves, like it grows and it's straight and it's all nice. Fair enough. But when it's like this, yeah, and it gets all like curly and no. I can't. If I can't brush it anymore and I have to start using combs, I know I'm in trouble. So, but yeah, big up to your hair. Your hair is mad still. I've seen it. It's a big size still. Shout out to Michael Smolders. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Now that I know you're Dutch, I want to know if I got that correct or not. What do you think about Ferrari versus McLaren? It's a great question. Michael. Do you know what? I think it's early. At the moment, it's a bit too early to tell. I don't know whether or not Ferrari will grow as the season goes on. At least it doesn't look as disastrous as last year. McLaren, however, I'm a McLaren fan. I love them. That's my team. From day one, Mika Hakkinen, David Coulthard, that's how I started. But with McLaren, I feel like they have a good weekend, and then they might have a disappointing weekend because of the bar they set the previous weekend, if that makes sense. And I found that out a lot last season. They really had a good start. They really impressed. We were talking about podiums and whatnot. But then by the end of the season, I think McLaren in the last 2 years have only had about 3 podiums, full stop, which is crazy when you think about it. So I want to see McLaren get more and more podiums. Ferrari got a podium last year, by the way. Lest we forget. So I think they even got 2 last year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, McLaren. I hope McLaren finish on top, but I'm not going to lie. I do want to see a competitive Ferrari. So that's what I think. I want to know what you think. Guys, like I said, if I put the link back in the chat, I'm going to put it in there now. Anybody that wants to join in, have a butchers, come and join in. Come and join in the stream, and we can have a discussion. Like I said, my man David, he's away on business at the moment, so you know he's doing his thing at the moment. Shout out to Uzair. Ferrari versus McLaren is the rivalry. I wish it was at the front like old times. Yeah, that's my era. Ferrari, McLaren, and you know it's amazing because depending on what era you've watched Formula One, like. Shout out to Relap F1 or Relap with Diana. She's sort of going through all the old school sort of races, like basically since Formula One began. And like she's got into the 80s right now. And it's amazing to see, like when I'm watching the videos, like where Ferrari are at that time, where McLaren are at that time. It's not like necessarily the big championship winning sides that we got used to seeing over the years, like the late 90s, early 2000s. So it's just amazing, you know, back then there would have been various different teams that were proper, that you would say this is the rivalry, you know. So it's amazing what would you say the rivalry of the 2010s is? Like the past decade, it's the Mercedes Red Bull, would you argue? Or maybe Mercedes Red Bull and Ferrari, is it a triple threat sort of thing? It's so bizarre. Like to me, that is the rivalry, I agree. But at the same time, you know, to other people, I guess it's, you know, for them, it could be, no, it's Red Bull Mercedes, no, it's Red Bull Ferrari, or, you know, and the like. So it depends. It's quite an interesting one. First question I want to put out there to you guys. Let us start with this. Since my channel, you know what I'm saying, Peter on pole. Listen, by the way, the fact that you lot are all here, I just want to say, all of you guys right now in pole position. Michael, pole. Who's there? Pole. Both CC, yeah? Chris, you're all you guys are both on pole right now. Okay, so just want to big up yourselves anyway. But I want to get your predictions. I want to let me find out, who do you think will be on pole this weekend? Who's going to start on pole at Imola this weekend? Because it's going to be tough. This is going to be a hard circuit, and getting in pole position is going to be key. You know, the circuit is not wide as Bahrain was. Overtaking is going to be very, very difficult. So what are your suggestions? Who do you think? I can give you my prediction. I do think it's going to be Max Verstappen. Look at that. He's there, man. We think alike. We think alike. I have a feeling Max Verstappen is going to do it, man, because he's got the pace, isn't it? He's got the raw pace. And right now, I feel like the Mercedes is still just a bit off the pace from Red Bull. I don't know what it is. I think like they're just off the pace just a little bit. And so for just raw pace, unless some crazy circumstances happen in like, you know, Q2, Q3 that halt Max Verstappen, I can't see anybody past him just purely on raw pace. But CCF1, they bring up a good point here. Look, Lewis on pole. Max seems to have bad luck in Italy. So look at that. You know, there's a bit of history with Max in Italy, isn't there? So who knows? It could be very, very interesting. I wonder what way it will go. I wonder what way it will spin. It will be interesting, though. At least qualifying, we're going to watch it and see two teams fighting for pole, isn't it? Rather than it being, will it be Lewis? Will it be Bottas? Look, I like competition anyway, whether it's the two Mercedes or not. I do prefer competition. So nonetheless, it should be fun to see. So look, let's see if Max has bad luck in Italy again. Then, you know, once Lewis is on pole, guys, it's going to be a long weekend. Let's put it that way. He's an unbelievable driver and he's hard to overtake. Michael's gone with Max on pole. He's gone with Hamilton to finish second and Perez to finish third. So are you giving me your podium? Is that your three? You think Max is going to win the race as well, yeah? Is that what we're doing? Because you know what, man? I'm going to go with you, Michael. I'm with you. I think Max Verstappen is going to not only hit pole, I think he's going to win the race because he starts on pole. Because my idea is that whoever starts on the front row of the grid, I think he's going to go ahead and win the race. But you're saying, no, you mean just qualifying. Okay, cool. So you're sticking to the question. So that's going to be a top three. Max and Hamilton on the front row, then I take it, yeah? Which is, you know what? It's hard to argue against that. I totally hear you on that. Big up to Sam P. Got to go Max because Red Bull is still too quick, in my opinion. Lewis loves these kind of tracks, though, so I don't think he'll be massively far off. I 100% agree. I couldn't agree with it anymore. The car, I just don't feel like it's. I just don't feel like it's there. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like it's there. I don't know why. I'm not entirely sure. But something just tells me that, whether or not Mercedes, look, they've had a 3-week break. So who knows? Maybe they would have, they probably pulled their finger out and they figured out what's going on. And maybe it could be as fast as the Red Bull. That's the problem, innit? This gap's been far too long. We've not got an inkling of who's going to come out the blocks. Because for all we know, it would be Max, Bottas straight in, and then they go P1, P2, and we're thinking, oh dear, Mercedes have woken up again. So it'll be interesting to see. Red Bull has a better downforce on this track. Yes, they do. Agree. Whoa, Russell in Q2, yeah? George Russell, do you remember his Imola experience last year? Thanks for reminding me, by the way, CCF1. I just come off the back of their video, and he can't have another one of those mistakes, can he? In Imola, where he crashed out under the safety car. Unbelievable scenes. But Russell in Q2, listen, Russell is known as the Mr. Saturday, right? He's known as somebody who's very, very good at qualifying. It'll be very, very interesting to see whether or not he can continue that form. We want to see a bit more of improvement. I want to see a Williams in the points this season. Let's get some points on the board. Target number 1, finish above Haas. Okay, finish above Haas, and then get some points. Just to let you guys know, I've just put a link in the comment section below. If you want to join the stream, you can jump on board. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys rather than me just rambling on. You know what I mean? So let's see. Who's there? What's he saying? My top 5 is Max, Lewis, Checo, Bottas, and Gasly. Is that for qualifying? Oh, that's in the race, you're saying, yeah? In the race. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see where Sergio Perez finishes or starts the grid on Sunday, because he's not got good form for qualifying. So it's not necessarily a guarantee that he's going to be in the conversation. He should be top 5. Don't get me wrong. He should be there week in, week out. There's a reason they brought him in. I mentioned in a previous video that Red Bull have finally got a good tag team now. Somebody to fight against both Mercedes here. And Perez's first goal beat Bottas. That's the first goal. Be ahead of Bottas. Give Mercedes something to think about. Make them worry. Make them wobble a little bit. Really, it's just been, Mercedes will win unless they really make a mistake. But now Red Bull, they look like a serious machine. So I'm with you. Gasly, listen, Gasly, people, they've slept on Gasly a little bit, haven't they? Because obviously Yuki's coming to the game and people are loving Yuki. They're on the Yuki train. I totally understand it. But never rule out Gasly. Gasly is quick. He's a good driver. He will pull up. He will pull up at some point. What's man like Chris saying? What's happening, Chris? I'll bet Gasly will have a good race weekend this time round, since he had to retire early last year and qualified P4. Yeah. Again, I think Gasly, he's someone to watch out for sure. I don't think people have ruled him out, but like out of sight, out of mind. And because all the hype has gone on to Yuki, and we're talking about, how great Norris was at Bahrain, we're fixated on the title race at the minute, that we end up forgetting about people like Gasly. I think Gasly is he's gonna come back and shock the world, and then everyone's gonna jump back on that train again. So I totally agree. I do think Gasly's gonna do some bits. Shout out to Ian Barker. What's happening, G? CL will be number 1. So what? Charles Leclerc? Unless I've read that wrong. Charles Leclerc number 1. Yeah. Valtteri Bottas 2. Perez in 3rd. Max, Lewis take each other out. I love it. Unbelievable scenes, Ian. If that happens, I tell you what, man. Honestly, I'll be asking you for some tips, some betting tips on the F1 there. That would be hilarious. There's going to be a point in the season, as it always does every single year, where you're going to get that freakish race. You're going to get that Monza. You're going to get that Turkey, where there's opportunities to take the lead. Charles Leclerc, however, mate, as much as I want to believe you, and I actually want to, I will co-sign that right now. If you can give me that at Imola, I will bite your hand off for it right now. Absolutely. But will it be the case? I take it you're a Ferrari fan. Listen, I love Charles Leclerc. And by the way, guys, I just want to, not to upset anybody here, I think Charles Leclerc will be world champion before Max Verstappen. I'm just putting it out there. I'm going to throw it in the ether. Let's see what happens. But I'm a big fan of Charles. I'm a big fan of Charles. So, it's that'll be hilarious. I'd absolutely love it. I'll love it. If George crashes, again, I will cry. Listen. Oh dear. He had a hard year last year, didn't he? When you consider the crash in Imola was just pure banter. It was hilarious. And, he was kicking himself. He knew that, how can I mess this up? How can I do this? Then Sakir, when he was in the Mercedes, oh dear. I felt very, very much sorry for him. He's hilarious. But listen, look, George can't have a mare this time round. He cannot, okay? Because if he does, listen, I'm getting onto him straight away. Let's hope not. Let's hope we can see the Williams do well. Latifi as well, by the way. Like, I get it. George, he's a fan favorite, especially in the UK, being British and whatnot. But Latifi as well. I mean, look, you guys are Canadian. You've got to wave the Canadian flag here. Latifi. Let's see how he is this season. Last year was his rookie year. Now he's got his feet underneath the table, if you will. Let's see how he does. Those Williams need to work together a lot. Shout out to Chris again. Interesting, we haven't mentioned McLaren yet. Any thoughts on that they could surprise us? Absolutely. It's funny enough, it's one of the questions I had on there. Who will be the biggest surprise? I can throw it up there now. Who will be the biggest surprise? Because I genuinely think that McLaren have got a definite shout. They could do well, but McLaren for me, I need consistency. That is my number one thing. Is I need consistency from them week in, week out. Just be improving, be doing well. They've got a great partnership though. They've got a great driver lineup. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on this season. I mean, Carlos Sainz was not a bad appointment. Let's be fair. And I like the fact that Norris is growing into himself. He's growing into more like a man, if you will. He's getting more mature with that car. And just because Danny Ricciardo's come in, he's sort of like, just because you're here and you're a favorite, this is my team. He's making it very, very clear that this is his team. So I'm looking forward to this. McLaren can be a surprise. It depends. Is finishing third again a surprise for them this year? I don't. What's your thoughts, Chris? Is finishing third yet again a surprise, or should we expect it now? Because Ferrari don't seem to be there. Aston Martin, holy smokes, don't know what's going on over there. And Mercedes and Red Bull look like they're going to leave the pack a little bit. So that could be very, very interesting indeed. Very, very interesting. Let me get to more of your questions here, or more to your comments. Latifi and Mazepin battle for last. Mazepin, rather. Latifi and Mazepin battle for last. The thing is with Haas, right? They've decided, you know what, we're not gonna improve. We're not gonna bother improving, and that is annoying. That's really annoying because I want to see how they are doing. I want to see how they improve. I mean, they've set their sights onto next year. Remember last week I had F1 Fanatics on the show, and we were just saying, every news story, we're going to be better next year. We're going to be the best next year. We're going to improve next year. We're going to be the benchmark. Listen, I'm not trying to hear any of that. I want to see today and now what is going on right now. Most unintentional donuts. I think Latifi, look, I think he's gonna grow, man. Let's hope. Listen, Latifi, man, you got to get above the Haas. You have to do this because that car is a joke at the moment for many more reasons than one. Shout out to Fergus McKee. What's going on, Fergus? I hope you're good. I hope you're well. I'll put in the chat right now and just let you lot know if anybody wants to jump on. Click that link or put it on the tab. If I find you backstage, I'll bring you through. What's happening, man? Every day. How do you think Ferrari will perform at Imola? Depends on qualifying. I think, what was Carlos Sainz saying? He was sort of saying, I was being a bit easy. I was cooling off a little bit to start things off. I didn't want to go gung-ho or whatever. But, he wanted to sort of work his way into the car. So now we're going to get a bit more of a mature drive, let's say, from Carlos Sainz. So Ferrari is interesting. Ferrari is very, very interesting. I don't know whether or not they've got the pace as such. They fixed the car a little bit. It seems better. It definitely seems better than last year. But whether or not it's going to do something, what would impress me? If both cars finish in the top 6 at the end of the weekend, that will impress me. That will make me think, okay, do you know what? Okay, because they would have had to do something. Because in Imola, really the pace at qualifying is what's going to help you get some good results in the race. So if they end up in the top 6, both cars, then they've either done something in qualifying, or hook or by crook, they've done well in overtaking and getting into those top positions. So that'll be interesting. Let me know your thoughts. What do you reckon about Ferrari at Imola? It should be one thing to watch. You know, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think Ferrari will do everything to win in Italy. Yeah, they will try their best, no doubt. And Charles can get into P4 with a truck. The guy is he's different gravy. How he got into the podium last year, I know Vettel did as well. How he got into the podium last year is phenomenal. I do not understand. I can't, you know. So they will do everything they can. We'll see whether they can. I think people want to see it as well. Even if you're not a Ferrari fan and such, you kind of want to see Ferrari be in the mix, be in that party, at least, you know, for the title to come. Shout out to Fergus. Listen, eat your dinner, you know. Let me know what you're having as well. If anybody's eating, just jump in the comments and let me know what you guys are munching on. I had a bacon sandwich earlier. Oh, delish. Absolutely delish. Who's there? Midfield battle is so hard to read this year. 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. I don't think Ferrari will be as quick as AlphaTauri. Ooh, it's a good point. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. AlphaTauri, look, the Honda engine seems to be doing the business, isn't it? Since we've kicked off this season, the Honda engine is doing the business. Whether or not they will keep up is another matter. It's another thing. I think over time, Ferrari will beat AlphaTauri. I don't know why. I just think like over time, they're the more experienced. They know. It's just whether they'll do updates. You know, I've been hearing that teams are not going to be updating their cars as often. So that will be that's an interesting one. Comment below, guys. What do you reckon? Who's finishing ahead? Who's finishing ahead? You know, will the Ferraris be slower than the AlphaTauris? It's a very good point. Is there? Very good point. Chris says, I think if McLaren walk away with a podium in this race, for now, it will be a surprise. Fair dues. But once they're at the point of getting a lot of podiums, like Red Bull in a season, then it will be less of a surprise. I'm with you. You know what? If they do get a podium this race, 100% it's a surprise. I'm with you. I totally agree with you on that. It will be, you know what? I would be impressed if McLaren this year, might sound harsh, if they get 3 podiums this year, I'll be surprised, because they've only had 2 or 3 in the last 2 or 3 years, something silly like that. You know, I would be surprised. But the car's improving. Maybe that Mercedes engine is what's the game changer right now. The pace is there. The drivers are top notch. It could be that. Like if it's over 5 podiums for McLaren this season, then that will be more of a clear step in the right direction. 100%. Of a surprise. But if they only get 2 all year, then yeah, exactly. So I'd say, look, if they get 3, bravo, well done, because it's better than what they did last year. They're moving in the right direction, but I feel like McLaren's steps are very small. You know, they're small, but they're effective. You know, finishing 3rd is crazy, but when you look at their races individually, you think, they were just really like consistently in the points, which is what you can. You know, you can only really, and in that Renault engine as well, because that Renault engine was giving all kinds of trouble. You know, so they maybe they overachieved last year. You know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. You know what it is? When you support a team or a driver or whatever, I think you're more critical of them. So maybe that's where my head is. But when I take things into consideration a lot more, who knows? I think they did very well for that Renault engine, especially last year. CC says, as Seb once said, everyone is a Ferrari fan. Even if you're not a Ferrari fan, you are a Ferrari fan. There you go. What did Fangio say? That when you think of a racing car, the first color you think of is red. Like, you know, it's undeniable, isn't it? It's one of those. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I was young and I was watching the Hamilton Schumacher in the Ferrari versus Hakkinen versus whoever, like even Alonso when he was at Renault, right? I could not stand Ferrari. I hated Ferrari, but that was just me being a kid, you know, and I was just being very, very biased towards McLaren. But Schumacher was winning title after title after title. I said, for goodness sake, can we change it up a little bit? But yeah, as I've got older, I've done nothing but appreciate Ferrari. And the fact that they've not won a title since 2007, listen, Let's get them back on the top at least. Let them have some fun. Let them have some fun. I'd put Ferrari ahead of AlphaTauri, but I do think that AlphaTauri could deliver a few surprises across the season without a shadow of a doubt. I totally agree with this comment here. I think, yep, over the course of distance, Ferrari will finish ahead, but AlphaTauri are going to give us some surprises, some shocks. I'll tell you what, if they get another win this year, due to the circumstances, who knows? That will be something special. Everyone will be loving that. Will be absolutely loving that. Let's hope they can. Michael says Gasly 2 podiums, Yuki Tsunoda 1 podium. I think. My goodness, if AlphaTauri can get 3 podiums, you're saying this season, and you know what? You're spot on. It's a long season. You forget it's 23 races this season, isn't it? So that's a lot of races when you think about it. Last year we had 17, and in some aspects the season was quite long last year, but I think it was because it was quite jam-packed, wasn't it? It started like June, July, and then it ended all the way in December. And we had to just cram a shed load of races. So you're right, it is a long season. Guys, what do you think about this? This is interesting. I would be buzzing if AlphaTauri can get 3 podiums this year. There are more, 5 more races, 6 more races than last year. So, hey, is it possible? I think it is possible. That is interesting. I wonder how the AlphaTauri is over long term. I wonder how that will go. Uzair says, when I think of a racing car, the first thing I think of is the MP422 and the MP4. Listen, my McLaren man, yeah, I see you. I'm with you. Don't worry, I'm with you. We know. I don't know what Fangio was talking about, but so you guys have talked about who your pole sitters are. Let me know in the comments below who will win the race. As I said, I'm going to go double Dutch. I'm going to go with Max again to win the race. I think he will start on pole. He'll win the race simply because it's so hard to overtake at Imola. And when you're at the front, Hamilton will be all over it. But I don't know if he's got enough. I just hope Sergio is in this fight. I hope Sergio can give Max a hand, or even the other way around. It would be lovely to see Sergio at the front row and giving it the full beans at the front. That would be so much fun to see. So I'd like to for you lot to put in the comment section, who will win the race. That would be interesting. Who's going to be the biggest disappointment? We've spoken about the surprise. Shout out to Pablo. Let me just pop this up real quick. Pablo Vasquez, what's going on? Max, Hamilton, Perez. Yeah, listen, I will love this. If this happens, I'll absolutely love it. I'll absolutely love it if it happens, because it creates a good fight in the season. Great competition. I'm hoping Sergio Perez, man, that is my guy. I'm hoping he proper puts his stamp on this season. I hope he can really, give it something, add to this fight and help Red Bull, beat Mercedes this year. Verstappen wins. Surely Red Bull can't, F this strategy twice in a row. Listen, you know what? I used to think Red Bull were the kings of strategy. I used to think, Mercedes might have the fast car, but the strategy is the Red Bull who've got it on deck. They're the ones who've got it on deck. Look, Formula One, man, you can never rule out anything. That's the truth of the matter. And could I see that happening? I probably could. I'm not going to lie. I probably could. I'm not sure. I hope not. But let's see. Let's wait and see. If Raikkonen wins over Gasly Giovinazzi in points, it's over for Gio. Or do you think they want to keep one Italian in for Italian fan base? Whoo! You know what? I found this a bit funny. If I remember correctly, did Gio not finish above Kimi last season? Or maybe I've got that completely wrong. But there was something about Gio that impressed me the most. I think he's out qualifying Kimi. Maybe that's what it is. But Gio, I know he wasn't the article that Ferrari thought they were going to get. He was doing well in the feeder series, but then when he came up here, it's just not really happened for him. And it feels like, honestly, Charles Leclerc has been the death for most drivers on the grid at the moment. Because when he stepped into the game, nobody saw this coming. Unless you did, comment below, unless you did. Nobody saw this guy because he wrecked Sebastian Vettel's career at Ferrari. That's number one. But then number two, I think even when Leclerc was at Sauber at the time, right? Absolutely wrecked Gio's chances, wrecked Ericsson's chance. Ericsson was for dust afterwards. So it's interesting. I don't know. I don't see Gio staying long. For the Italian fan base, I don't know if they care. I don't know if they care that much. You know, you look at Ferrari. You could argue for the same case with Ferrari. For Ferrari, it means completely different. You know, it's a completely different kettle of fish with Ferrari. So, it'll be interesting. It's a good question, though. It's a good question. I don't know if it's over for Gio, because where could he go? Let's say you know Alfa Romeo want to get rid. Where could he go? Could it be Williams? Could something like Williams might have happened? Could there have been a bit of a change there? Could he cross over there? Or maybe Williams will think, nah, you're all right. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. Biggest disappointment will be Aston Martin. Oh dear. All the hype before the season, but it looks like they are in for a rough season. Even when they were Racing Point, yeah? Do you remember last year when, you know, especially the testing, if you've seen Drive to Survive, they reimbursed that, you know, they spoke about that again. This is a team that was supposed to be in third comfortably, you know, with what happened with Ferrari. They should have been third, sorry. They should have been third, right? And they just flopped the base. I don't understand what on earth happened. Why is it all talk with this team? Because last year it was the case. So I don't know what it is about this year as well, you know. And it's strange. Mercedes powered engine, Aston Martin. The car looks delicious. You know what I mean? It's a scrumptious looking car, and it's just not going according to plan. It's just not going at the moment. Anyway, let's see. We never know. We never know. CC biggest disappointment. Alonso. Oi, steady on. I have a feeling he will be too aggressive on such a narrow track, and it will cost him. Fernando Alonso. This one has sparked up some serious debates, serious discussion. I'm a big fan of Alonso. I love the guy. I'm glad he's back in Formula One. And look, he looks like he hasn't missed a beat, has he? You know, he's been out of Formula One, 2 years? He came in, he's finished Ocon. He left Ocon in the bin somewhere. And, you know, due to unforeseen circumstances, he had to retire the car. But he was pushing that car as far as he could. Maybe it might be too much aggression. Who knows? You might be right there. I hope you're wrong, though. I hope you're wrong. He can't be the biggest disappointment. I don't want it to be him. Yeah, I don't want it to be him. I'd rather it be Sebastian Vettel. Yep, that is absolutely correct. Now, Kimi and Gio both scored 4 points. Okay, but Kimi had more 9th place finishes. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, fine. So, yeah, so it's the Gio one's interesting. I think his performance. You know, I think he's a driver under pressure for sure this season. I think Gio's performances suffered due to the 2 years he spent out of the car. Yeah, there is that as well. You do forget that as well. Yeah, you know, it wasn't easy for him. Yep, they both had 4 points as previously mentioned. Big up Radillan. Listen, guys, let me put back in the chat again. If anybody wants to join in. We won't stay on too long. Anybody wants to join in, you can jump in. We can have the discussion whilst we get your comments in there. Okay, agree that Gio's time in F1 could be out too. There's Schwartzman and Eilert waiting in the seat. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? There's some. You know what? Yeah, and forgive me, guys, because I've never been a feeder series watcher. I've never really paid too much attention to it. But recently, it's been getting a lot more coverage. It's been getting a lot of footage. So I've had an eye, and being part of this Formula One community, I'm learning more and more about these feeder series. Is it me, or has the talent got so much better, or was there always good talent, but it was always, you know, for some strange reason they never pushed it forward, if that makes sense? Because I'm looking at the youngers and I'm thinking, yo, these guys are coming into Formula One and they're putting their mark down. You know, when you think Yuki now, you think when Gasly came in, even when Albon came in. You know, I'm missing, you know, Leclerc, Verstappen. There are people like when I look at all the young drivers now, you know, Russell. I'm thinking, my goodness, we have got Formula One is in a good position. By the way, when it comes to talent, I know everybody moans about paid drivers and, you know, fair dues. Say what you like, but the talent is there. The talent is there, and that's what makes me feel like, you know what. As much as I'm going to miss Lewis Hamilton and Alonso's and Kimi's and whatever. Listen, it's not in a bad place at all. It's not in a bad place at all. So I'm loving seeing that talent come through. Hopefully, you know, like these two here that you've mentioned. I know Eilert, everybody was fuming Eilert wasn't in the seat this year. And that's the problem. You know, you're going to have those every now and again. But let's see what happens. Let's see, what have you put here? Big up Radillion. Radillan, listen, guys, if anybody wants to join in, we won't stay on too long. Anybody wants to join in, you can jump in. We can have the discussion whilst we get your comments in there. Shout out to Uzair. Aston just need to make the green brighter and then they'll start winning. What? Replace the pink? Listen, the pink looks nice, man. Unless you're saying, you know, the actual main green needs to be light. I don't think people will take that. Listen, the car is buff. Yeah, it's nice. Let it be. Just sort out the car, sort out the aerodynamic, whatever the issue is. You know, just sort that out, and maybe, you know, and maybe. I want Alonso to cause some controversy, like crash games. Nah, listen, we can't have that. You know, his reputation isn't that great at the moment, and so to now give it that, that's pain. You know, I don't want to see any of that, man. I don't want to see any of that. I hope he causes controversy in terms of winning points, in terms of getting on the podium. You know, I hope he stirs up some trouble in that sense. I'll totally take that. Yeah, totally agree there with Date. Sam P says Gio's age, I think, makes it hard for him to be rehired. He's older than Kvyat, for instance. Okay, that's interesting. Agreed. Aston Martin could really struggle to develop this low rate concept that they don't understand. Sort it out, Aston Martin. Okay, look, Otmar, I don't want to be hearing you again. This weekend, if I hear the rake mentioned once again, I'm doing a video on it just purely for him. Purely for him. I'm just going to go at him for 5 minutes and say, dude, stop moaning, stop whinging. I got time for Otmar, by the way. I like Otmar, cool guy, but he couldn't stop. He couldn't stop in Bahrain, could he? He was just chatting about this rake. Listen, it is what it is. Now do something about it. This is why, you know, this is why you're in Formula One. Oh man, let's see. It didn't work for Caterham. Absolutely right. It didn't work for Caterham. Excuse me. Don't know what's going on there. I had a little leak. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, listen, the Caterham had that nice green. Didn't mean anything, did it? Didn't mean anything really. But that CT03 was a stunner. Listen, it can look nice. It has to perform. Unfortunately, not such a shame because the Caterham green was lovely. Oh man, what are you saying about Ilott? What would you say here? Honestly, I think Schwartzman and Ilott are both overrated. You know, Uzair is known for. He's always said, if I ever spoke my mind on Formula One, this guy would be in the chopper. So there's one. You know, that's one of the comments. Ilott has had only one amazing season, and Schwartzman isn't as good in F2 as I expected. Hey man, everyone's entitled to their opinion for sure. The Aston Green is too dark. Come on. The Aston Martin green is delicious. It is lovely. That's the kind of green I like, especially on a Formula One car. But hey, you know, you don't like it, fair dues. If it's too dark, fair enough. Crashgate was exciting though. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. 100%, it was definitely exciting. No doubt, no two ways about it. There's a forecast for rain in Italy. Will the rookies compete with the wets? Interesting question. Listen, the weather thing, I'm going to wait until 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Yeah. And when qualifying starts, whenever it starts, whatever time it is in our respective countries, then I'll believe it. Okay. Because right now, yeah. Was there a picture of, I see a meme on Twitter with Danny Ricciardo with the weather map thingy, and it was meant to be pouring down with rain. And I think the next day somebody else put it up and it was like sunny. So, you know, the weather's going to fluctuate every now and again. But to the point to your question, the rookies, how will they do in the wet? I reckon Yuki might have it on lockdown. I think he'll be all right. We've got Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Yuki. What other rookies have we got in there? That's all I can think of right now. I'm sure I'm missing somebody out. But yeah, you look at those three, how will they do? I think Yuki will come out on top. The Haas in the wet, it just sounds like a mess, doesn't it? It sounds like something's going to go wrong. It just sounds like it, doesn't it? So we shall have to wait and see. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, basically, you know, biggest disappointment we've done. You know, here's the question I'll ask you before we wrap things up. Yeah. Who finishes higher? Let me clear this banner. Let's get out of here. I'll just put that down at the bottom. Who do you think is going to finish higher? Okay, I'm going to put it in the comment section below. In Mercedes, Hamilton or Bottas, you just put the three letters like Ham or Bot. Who will finish higher, Perez or Max Verstappen, and so on and so forth. For McLaren, for Ferrari, for Aston Martin, who's going to finish higher in the respective teams? I want to get your thoughts as we close and look forward and look ahead to Imola this weekend. I'll give my prediction in the meantime. I think Hamilton will finish above Bottas. I think Max will finish above Perez. In the McLaren, Norris against Ricciardo, I can't work out. But I'm going to go just Danny Ricciardo. I'll go just Danny Ricciardo. I think as well, for what other team is there? Ferrari, I'll go Leclerc over Sainz in his first year for Sainz, so I'll go with Leclerc. In the Alpine, I'm going to go Alonso without a shadow of a doubt. Just put it in the comments. Sorry, yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on the comments, and then I'll just put them up and give people their opinion. Alonso over Ocon. AlphaTauri, I'll go Gasly over Yuki. In the Alfa Romeo, I'll go Kimi over Gio. In the Williams, I'll go George over Latifi. In the Haas, I'll go Mick over Nikits. Mike says, I used to be a Ricciardo fan, but I think now he is a pay driver. He collected 50 mil at Renault and jetted. Is that right? He collected 50 million quid, whichever currency, I guess euro. That is interesting. That's interesting. You know what? Ricciardo's been here 10 years. And that took me by surprise. He got in here 10 years under the bag. And, I wonder, has he got as many wins? Has he got as many race wins as Bottas? That'll be an interesting one. Fun fact, Bottas has 9 wins in Formula One, all in Mercedes. That is shocking. I'm not going to lie, that is shocking. With the car that Mercedes have, that is shocking. Ricciardo, man, I don't know when he's going to get that title, if he ever will, because he looked destined for the title, didn't he? So I'm not entirely sure. Is it 7 wins? Yeah, so he's less than Bottas. It's interesting. See, Danny Rick, I always thought was going to be a world champion at Red Bull, and then, until Max started getting in the way, and then he left. Then it's interesting. Ricciardo is my favorite driver, but I can't lie, he ran away from Max. I don't disagree. And I don't get it, because I think he's as good as Max, if not better, with the experience and everything else. I think he could have had a good fight there. It could have been a good fight. Bottas has the same amount of podiums as Nico Rosberg, which feels wrong. Yeah. It feels wrong. Let's see. How long Rosberg was... I mean, Rosberg in the winning Mercedes would have been about 2 seasons, right? 3 seasons, I want to say. When did they win their first title? Was it 2014? So 14, 15, 16. 14, 15, 16. When you consider it, I know Rosberg's been in Formula One ages, BMW and whatnot. But, Williams even. Why am I saying BMW? Maybe he was in BMW. But yeah, put some respect on Bottas's name. It's true. You know what, Michael? I had this thing with Bottas where if he was a killer, I would totally get it and I would respect it. He talked about not being nice this year and whatnot. Okay, fair dues. Let's see you push, because he should be fighting with Lewis. But Hamilton is just better than most. It's true, but you know what? Before Rosberg won the title, nobody thought Rosberg could do this to Hamilton. I think Rosberg showed that if you do stick your elbows out a little bit, if you improve 10%, you can really give Hamilton a run for his money. Like, I would have totally agreed with that comment there, Michael, if Rosberg never won the title, if Hamilton flat out just killed him. But the fact that even Rosberg, somebody who I didn't really necessarily think, oh yeah, he's great, he's quick, and I didn't necessarily think that about him. But when he did win that title, man, and what was the year? Was it the double points year in 2014 where he, I think down to the last race. Abu Dhabi wanted to have a double points finish, didn't they? So at the last race, they put on double points, and Rosberg could have won it in 2014. That would have been interesting, you know. That could have been something else. Bottas has bad luck. Agreed. I won't deny that. You know, the way people disrespected him at Bahrain, I thought was a bit unfair. He went in the pits. He went and done the fastest lap. Hence why the 30-second gap behind Lewis. You know, and yeah, he's had his DNFs for sure. Let's hope Bottas can, you know, it's one of those, it's this thing with Formula One, you know, you've got to put the results for people to respect, you know, totally. Yeah, the pit stops were a frigging nightmare, weren't they? You know, you got to put in the results in order to for people to be like, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, this is, you know, let's do this. Let's get on the Bottas train. We liked him when he joined Mercedes because he was very good at Williams. He done well at Williams. So let's hope and see that this year, you know what? His head's screwed on, and let's see if he goes on pole this weekend. And then again, it would, you know, it'll just throw everything out of the water, won't it? But yeah, guys, look, we've done what, 45 minutes. Just want to give you a shout out to all of you guys. Thank you for joining the podcast. We're going to wrap things up. Looking forward to Imola. Hopefully I'll see you all there. I don't mean literally in Imola, but, you know, hopefully we're all glued to the screens as we're watching, qualifying. The shorter practices are nice as well, so I'm liking it. Don't forget as well that the times have changed. I think they've gone earlier, if not later. I can't remember, but the times have changed. So check your local listings for the qualifying sessions for practice and the race itself. Hopefully we enjoy a great race this weekend. And watch out for the videos. I'm going to be putting out top 3 drivers video. I'm going to be doing the worst drivers video, fun facts. It's all going to happen. If you like the video, please, guys, hit the video. Give the video a like. That will really help the algorithm, if you will. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, you lot have been awesome. Every single one of you lot on pole position today. Until next week, Wednesday, 6:30 again, BST, British Summer Time. Until then, we'll meet then. But with that said, peeps, lights out.